In 1973, the CIA destroyed nearly every record of a mind control program that experimented on ordinary Americans without their consent. They thought they erased it. They didn't. This is the story of MKUltra Subproject 130, a covert operation buried inside one of the most notorious programs in American intelligence history. A program where the line between science and torture didn't just blur, it disappeared entirely. Over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to walk you through what we know, how it happened, and why the ethical failures of this project still echo through our institutions today. Because this isn't just history. This is a warning. Let's begin. To understand Subproject 130, you first need to understand the world that created it. It's 1953. The Cold War is escalating. The Soviet Union and China are perceived as existential threats, not just militarily, but psychologically. American POWs are returning from Korea with strange stories. Stories of brainwashing, of confessions that seemed scripted, of minds that had been altered. The CIA is terrified. If the enemy has cracked the code to controlling human behavior, to implanting ideas, to erasing memory and loyalty, then the United States is vulnerable in ways no weapon can defend against. As a result, in April 1953, CIA Director Allen Dulles greenlights MKUltra. The mission? To explore mind control techniques, to discover if you can break a person down and rebuild them, to find out if human consciousness itself can be hacked. MKUltra wasn't one project, it was an umbrella, a sprawling network of 149 sub-projects, each exploring different methods: hypnosis, sensory deprivation, electroshock, radiation, and most infamously, LSD and other hallucinogens. Subproject 130 was one of those nodes in the network. But while most of MKUltra focused on foreign agents and willing military volunteers, Subproject 130 took a darker turn. It targeted ordinary people, people who never knew they were being experimented on. Here's where the story gets disturbing. Subproject 130, like many MKUltra operations, centered on lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD. At the time, LSD was a relatively new compound. Discovered in 1938, it became a substance of intense interest to intelligence agencies because of its profound effects on perception, memory, and suggestibility. The CIA's hypothesis was simple. If you could destabilize someone's sense of reality, could you then reprogram them? Could you extract information they'd otherwise never reveal? Could you make them forget things, believe things? Therefore, researchers working under Subproject 130 began administering LSD to subjects, often without their knowledge or consent. Let me say that again, without their knowledge or consent. Some subjects were psychiatric patients, others were prisoners. Some were simply people who trusted their doctors, who had no idea that their treatment had been hijacked by a covert government program. The experiments varied. Sometimes subjects were given escalating doses over days or weeks to observe cumulative effects. Sometimes they were dosed and then subjected to interrogation techniques, isolation, repetitive audio loops, strobe lights, extreme temperatures. But the goal was always the same: to see how far the human mind could be pushed, to see if you could dissolve someone's identity and reshape it. The methods were crude, brutal, desperate, and they were happening in American hospitals, American prisons, American universities. Now here's the question that haunts this entire story. How did this happen? How did trained doctors and scientists, people bound by the Hippocratic Oath, by basic standards of human decency, participate in experiments that violated every principle of informed consent? The answer is as chilling as it is simple. There was no oversight. MKUltra operated in complete secrecy. The projects were compartmentalized. Researchers were often unaware of the larger program they were contributing to. They were told they were advancing national security, protecting American lives. As a result, ethical corners were cut, then ignored, then demolished entirely. Medical ethics at the time, especially regarding vulnerable populations, were already frighteningly weak. The Nuremberg Code, established in 1947 after the horrors of Nazi medical experiments, clearly outlined the necessity of voluntary consent. But the CIA operated under the belief that the Cold War was an existential fight, that the ends justified the means, that if the Soviets were willing to do it, we had to be willing to go further. The researchers involved in Subproject 130 and MKUltra more broadly faced no meaningful accountability during the program's operation. No ethics boards, number, independent review, no oversight from Congress. It was a black box. And inside that box, human beings became disposable variables in an equation. Many subjects suffered severe psychological trauma. Some never recovered. At least one person, Frank Olson, a biochemist, died under suspicious circumstances after being dosed with LSD without his knowledge. Therefore, what began as a search for a tactical advantage became a profound moral catastrophe. So after all the pain, all the violation, all the darkness, did it work? Did the CIA unlock the secrets of mind control? The short answer is no. Despite years of experimentation, despite the suffering inflicted on countless subjects, the findings of Subproject 130 and MKUltra as a whole were largely inconclusive. LSD proved wildly unpredictable. Responses varied drastically between individuals. You couldn't control someone's thoughts or actions with any consistency. Hypnosis didn't work the way they'd hoped. Torture and drugs could break people, but they couldn't reprogram them in any meaningful, lasting way. But the CIA didn't publicize this failure. They didn't apologize. They didn't face justice. Instead, in 1973, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered the destruction of all MKUltra records. He wanted to erase it, to bury it so deep that no one would ever know what had been done in the name of national security. As a result, when the program finally came to light in 1975, during the Church Committee investigations into intelligence abuses, the evidence was fragmentary, incomplete, just enough to confirm the nightmare, but not enough to hold most perpetrators accountable. About 20,000 documents survived the purge, discovered by accident in a misfiled box. Those documents revealed the scope and horror of MKUltra, including glimpses into Subproject 130. But the full truth? We'll never know it. The records are ashes. So why does this matter now? Why revisit something that happened 70 years ago? Because Subproject 130 is a case study in what happens when power operates without transparency. It's what happens when institutions prioritize secrecy over accountability. When fear, even legitimate fear, becomes a license to abandon ethics. When we decide that some people's rights matter less because they're vulnerable, because they're marginalized, because they're other. The researchers involved weren't monsters. They were ordinary people working within a system that told them their work was justified, that the threat was real, that the ends justified the means. But history has shown us, again and again, that this logic leads to atrocity. The subjects of Subproject 130 were real people. They had families, dreams, futures that were stolen from them without their knowledge, without their consent, without their chance to say no. And here's the uncomfortable truth. We only know about MKUltra because of an accident. Because some documents weren't destroyed. Because a few brave whistleblowers and investigators refused to let it stay buried. This is why the lesson isn't just about what happened. It's about what could still be happening in the shadows of national security classifications, in the name of threats we're told we must fear. It's a reminder that oversight isn't optional, that transparency isn't weakness, that the moment we decide some humans are expendable for the greater good, we've already lost our moral foundation. The final line, accountability or amnesia. Subproject 130 failed to control minds, but it succeeded in revealing something far more important: how easily institutions can lose their humanity when no one is watching. The CIA never truly answered for MKUltra. A handful of settlements were made, a few apologies issued, but no meaningful structural change, no binding safeguards to prevent it from happening again. And so we're left with a choice. Do we remember, Do we demand better? Do we build systems that make this kind of abuse impossible? Or do we let it fade into history, a dark chapter we'd rather forget, until the next covert program crosses the same lines, justified by the next existential threat? The subjects of Subproject 130 can't speak for themselves anymore, which meant we have to. Join the conversation. If you're interested in exploring how we tell difficult, important stories like this, stories that demand precision, empathy, because the stories we tell shape the world we live in, and some stories are too important to get wrong. Thank you for watching.